Hey everybody.
Hi friends.
Hello fellow particles of the one true love.
Amen to that.
We just are back again this week to check in with y'all and see how everybody's doing. How's your week going? And we thought we would talk this week about religion versus spirituality.
But since we do talk a lot about God and our faith and like what it is to us and how
it's come up a lot already.
Yeah, and so since that's going to be a big theme, obviously, because that's what we do when we get together and talk, like that's usually how we discuss. We always throw that into it because it's such a big part of our lives. So we were like, well, maybe we should go ahead and discuss and just put it out there what that means to us. And
yeah.
A little bit about our views, which are, again, our views, and we are both super respectful and accepting of
other views.
Pretty much other views, yeah, like all other views.
Any other views.
Whatever works for you works for us. This is just what we find works for us. We're not trying to
It's what we have found to be true
to
in
us.
our souls and what we believe to be true, but that doesn't mean that, you know, other people don't have truth in them and their beliefs, and they might be different than ours.
Yeah,
and we respect that and understand that. But we, you know, the only reason why we're even really bringing it up about us is just because if you're going to get to know us, it is, like she said, a big part of who we are and what we believe. And we also have normal, you know, other things going on in our life. But we just wanted to kind of explain how we think.
And we only wanted,
for future reference for any of our, you know, videos or podcasts, so you guys just know.
And I only want to share good things. So I only want to put out,
sure.
like you said, what you put out, you get back. So like, especially when I'm sharing it with a large audience. And a lot of this stuff is stuff that I've already like tell people when they come seeking advice. Anyway, so this is what my views are, but we're not trying to push that on anybody.
No. But we just kind of want to explain, I guess, why we think how we think, just because our few videos that we've already done, you may or may not have any questions.
Or have realized.
Because we've brought up, you know.
That seems to be a big topic.
Yes, our faith. So I felt like it would be easier to kind of give you a little bit of history. Obviously, you guys know she's my daughter, and I have another one. And when my kids were little, I was very religious. I, in fact, even used to teach Sunday school when they were little. And then we went to a Methodist church for a while. We went to a Baptist church for a while. We went to a non-denominational church a few different times. We've gone to...
I've been to Catholic churches also. With
Jehovah's Witness Kingdom Halls. We've gone to... goodness, I can't even tell you. I mean, it's so many
even
different
now
churches.
I still like study Hinduism
just to visit. I mean, we weren't members of all these churches, but I was searching for the truth. I always had a deep yearning for, like, what, you know, why are we here? What is the bigger purpose besides what I can see? Because I knew, you know, this couldn't be it, what I was seeing around me. And this is just as a child. And then probably when I was about 14, I started going to church. I started going to a Pentecostal church with a girlfriend that lived down the road from me. That was and when I was little, my grandma used to send me to, you know, just a little church in town, and I would go to Bible school and Sunday school and stuff. But yeah, it just kind of was always in me to find the truth. I just had to know the truth about God, about why we were here, about our Creator, my purpose.
And I think it's fair to say that within that time she was searching, and I'm like, again, anything we say is not meant to be offensive to anybody, but was looking for the right religion is how I feel like it is. Like, assuming that one of them out there is going to be the one that has all the right answers, and that's going to be the one that God would prefer everybody.
That question drove me crazy. Believe it or not, that was my biggest. I had to know which one's the right one, which one am I going to get closest to God in, and what's the secrets, which one has all the secrets. And of course, it was constant searching and I found a lot of answers through that searching, just not that one. But I mean, obviously, I believe there's truth in all of those religions. There's God in all of them. And I think as long as your heart is in that place of seeking God, it doesn't matter what religion you're going through. He's going to show up one way or the other. But yeah, I feel like that was my biggest question. And ironically, during that time in my life, well, actually, they were a little bit older. So it was like a few years after. I was still going to church every time the doors were open, but I was kind of settled into just like one church, and it was non-denominational at that time. We lived in Pekin. Sorry, I'm going to cut that out. And so I remember at the same time searching online for some answers, and I found a video. I was looking at videos of a bunch of people that had had near-death experiences, and I found this one where it was this gentleman talking about his near-death experience, and he mentioned that his biggest question was which religion is the true right one. And he mentioned that, you know, when he had his near-death experience, he basically saw God. I mean, I don't think he explained it like that, but he knew he was surrounded by God. And he said that, you know, God basically told him, you could ask me any questions you want. And he said, the only thing that could come to mind is which religion is the true religion. And God said, there is no, I don't care. There is no one true religion. He said, I am. So I felt like from then on that just answered that question. It just rang so true to me. And it really helped me, I think, to calm down and realize that God isn't that hard to find, you know.
For me, kind of the same scenario, but she said, like, just that God for me isn't in a box. Like, he's so much bigger than that, or I am is so much bigger than that. Sometimes I use he for lack of a easier term.
Yeah.
But I think that I am is omnipotent and just so much bigger than the box of religion. Same thing. I mean, I went to all those churches, which were all great. Like, I'm not knocking church.
No.
I love church.
Me too.
But we went to a lot of different denominations, and to the point, like, so I felt like that they were, like, I feel like religion has a lot of rules that are man-made. Mm-hmm. And I feel like they have these like these lists and stipulations, and a lot of times I feel like it's contradictory, and that's where I got stuck and considered myself an atheist for a short while, because I had been through all these different religions and none of them made sense to me. Like, they all preach one thing but would do another, because we're imperfect, we're flawed, mm-hmm. We're human, and I understand that better now than I did. But at the time I was like, how can you preach one thing and then do another, or say that God is all good, but then he sends you to hell for this or that? And when we all sin, like, no sin is bigger, you preach no sin is bigger than another sin, we all sin, but if you sin, you go to hell, but God is all good, loving, and all forgiving. It just did not make any sense. And I was like, if there is a God, clearly he's not
this
great.
Confusing.
Well, and I was like, he's bad. Like, look at all the terrible things that happen, and how he, you know, contradictory it is. And
because a lot of churches will teach the scary God, you know, they want to scare you to death.
Into shape. I can't say a lot of churches. I say that I've run into some that are that way. Like I said, I don't want to offend anybody. This is just my life experience. But
not every church we've even been to is like
went through that until I just had like a come to God moment. And then after that, somebody recommended a very good book. If anybody's interested, you can ask about it. That taught, well, actually, it was Sylvia Brown.
I was going to say, tell.
Well, I can't remember which one it is. It might be If You Could See What I See. We'll have to look it up and put it in the comment section or whatever. But she had tenets. It listed the tenets of her church.
Yeah,
and
I think it is
like
that
21
one.
of them. and what they believe. And she had pulled from a lot of, from other religions also, but like she, at her church, they really taught to take what you want and leave the rest. And that is how I have grew my relationship with my God, because I realized that it was okay to not follow one particular list. Like whatever God is speaking to me in my heart is what my relationship with God should be. Even if my convictions are different than your convictions, that's okay, because God's that big. It could be different, in my opinion, for every single person, your relationship and what your expectations are and what you're called to do, because he's that big. So I feel like that helped me, like I said, just tremendously, knowing that we can take what we feel right is right. And that's the thing too, with all, like you said, with all of the religions that I've studied, which has been quite a few, I have found good in all of them. And a lot of them say the same thing, like ultimately, love God, love one another. Those are the big, And then you get down to what I feel is the man-made stuff, where they start, talking about, you can't do this on a Tuesday or whatever, things
the
like that.
Rules, regulations, rituals.
And for me, I'm like, that might work for somebody. If that's your convictions, then that's what God wants for you, and that is true for you. I think it can be different for everybody, but like I said, the major ones were kind of all the same. And that was huge for me. And then there's nonsense that I've thought of, even in the Christian
Lessons.
Bible, that when I read sometimes, I'm like, that seems like the Old Testament. I'm like, and I don't want to piss anybody off today, but there are things, like I said, that I have read and all the different ones that I've studied that I've been like, yes, I dig that. And then there's been things that I'm like, nope, that doesn't ring true to me.
That's what kept happening when we were, would go to different churches, is I'd be gung-ho, 150% in, and then all of a sudden it would come to a point where, like she said, either I would see a lot of hypocrisy going on, which was very disheartening when you're really seeking, the truth, or not that I'm not a hypocrite, I'm just saying it's disheartening when you're, really seeking the truth and you think you've found it, and then these people start acting weird, or the preacher starts preaching weird and saying things different than what you understand it to be in the Bible, or what you understand God to be. When it just goes against your own personal, where you're like, oh, I just can't go for that.
Can't accept that.
Then we would go to a different church, because I'd be like, oh, I'm done here. When really I probably shouldn't have been done there. It's just that, like I said, every religion, I feel like, has their own little rules and stuff, but even every individual church, every individual preacher is a human being, and they can, twist a couple verses and a couple scriptures to mean whatever they want it to mean. And I've seen it. I've seen several different preachers preach the same, the same scripture and have different meanings each time.
Well, and to add to
which
that,
it can mean something different to all of them, and it's supposed to, I think. But
yes, that's what their interpretation is, because that's what
how
they
big God is,
needed to take from that verse. And like you said, I can read the same verse 20 different times and get 20 different answers,
and
or
I've done that many
truths from it, because that's what I needed and that's what I was seeking, and that was what it was my time to find. So it's not knocking these people for doing so, it's just that it is putting a human twist on something that is,
spiritual and
yes,
hard
so
to
it can be something that doesn't work for you. And we have just found, so that's our big thing. We are very spiritual people. I'm super spiritual. I have a relationship with my God. I am not religious. I do not follow one specific religion. I've had people accuse me of making up my own religion because I do that. Yeah. And to them, I say, okay, who cares? I'm happy. I feel like, and I've also been heard, what if you're wrong? And that is one of the number one things that I always preach. I'm always preaching. Let's just be real. And let's be honest, we're human. I feel like we always try to catch ourselves in these little things and be like, well, we do that too. We do. I'm human. But I will still try to throw out solid advice where I think it needs to be thrown out. Not that I'm not a work in progress.
Right, exactly. We still are humans trying to do better, trying to be better, trying to grow spiritually, and become better people.
I always, when people come at me and are like, what if you're wrong? And one of the things I read in that, Sylvia, brown book, and her church was called, or is called, Novus Spiritus. The number one like tenet that they had was drop your ego, and I love that. And how many times have I said that to you when talking about anybody? Like, if you can drop your ego and not care what you look like, or if you're right or wrong, or any of those things, like, so many doors open for you because you're not worried. It takes away a huge chunk of fear, and also it enables you to, I find, like, it makes me happy. Like, I don't care if I am wrong. If I'm wrong, here's how I look at it. If I'm wrong and there is no God, which this is purely hypothetical because obviously I'm strong in my faith, but if I am wrong and I'm gonna die one day and there's nothing after it, or if I'm right and I'm gonna die one day and there is something after it, like, either way, the outcome is the same. I'm gonna die. The only difference is it makes me happy to have hope and have a relationship with my God while I'm here. So if I'm gonna die in the end anyway, if the outcome is always the same, I'm gonna live and then I'm gonna die, I wanna live and be happy. And that brings me peace and happiness. And again, if I'm wrong when I die, does it matter? No. All that mattered was my life. So if I die and like I said, and I live a long, happy life, and that's all that mattered anyway, perfect. And if I'm right, perfect also. Like, I lived a long, happy life, and now there's an afterlife. So, like, I just don't see the argument. Like, my brain don't comprehend it. And I can segue with that also into, like, it takes more faith for me. It would take more faith for me to not believe in God than it does to believe in God, because it just, if you ever get the chance
I've always said that since you guys were a little bitty. I'm like, it just takes a lot more faith to disbelieve it.
Well, and
when
like,
it's so in your face and obvious.
It is. And like, even in just like, if you ever study anatomy, like, I've studied anatomy, I love anatomy. The way our body works, it is nothing short of a miracle that we are doing what we are doing right now. Like, anything, breathing, the cells that know how to multiply and reproduce to make that exact same kind of cell that constantly has to do that. But like, every organ, every facet of your anatomy is constantly doing this, like reproducing and multiplying so you can survive, or how your body is, using different chemical reactions to make energy, I don't want to get like super nerdy and start breaking out the terminology and stuff, and people are gonna be like, oh, but it's a miracle. And then how perfectly it works. Like, how perfect is it that, like, you eat food and like it nourishes you and keeps you alive and keeps you functioning, and then your body knows how to expel it. And then even that, like, I just feel like God has given us everything we need, and like has turned everything into being purposeful, and that cannot be like a happy accident. Like, even shit is used to grow new life. Like, he has taken everything and made it so recyclable and so,
and given us really everything we could possibly need to thrive.
It's so perfect
on this earth. Yeah,
it's absolutely perfect. So
I believe even medicine-wise, he's given us some kind of natural, thing. Even the medicines that they make in laboratories come from some natural thing that they accidentally found that cures something. So I just feel like, he's put everything here. And so the next logical question, I can almost hear someone saying this, is, okay, well, if God's so great, why is there COVID? Why are people, starving in this country and in other countries? Why this and why that? And the answer to that is, we believe that this life is kind of like a growing experiment. It's kind of like a test after test after test, even though it's not all bad. Obviously, we have joy in life, we have beauty. I think that God gives us so many different beautiful gifts that we just choose to maybe not perceive that way. But I also think that you can't help but deny there's beauty in this world. But there's hardships, and there's death and sickness and all those things, because this world is faulty. We were born into a faulty body in a faulty world. And we believe that we're here because we want to be.
I was going to say, if we're going to go down this rabbit hole, I got plenty to
it's just, because the next question is going to be, how can you,
Because So we have our own personal beliefs and that we have found that work for us. What worked for me when I had those same questions, like I said, I thought if there was a God, he had to be terrible, was the concept that we kind of plan our lives to fulfill our soul's purpose. That's what I believe. That's what works for me. Whatever works for you, more power to you. And share. I love getting new, like I love expanding my mind and giving thought to new things. And that's another thing too. There are some things too that, like, okay, so with that, let me continue with that first. Derail. I believe that we do that to grow our own spirit and find enlightenment. And I also believe we do it for others, because like we're always saying, we're particles, we're all connected. I feel like in the afterlife we all have so much love for one another. Like we don't have this division, we're all one, we're all little pieces of a one. And so we do that for other people. Like without the bad, we would never know or experience or choose the good. Without things that caused us to feel sympathy or empathy or compassion, how would we ever learn those emotions and be, bigger and full of love? With that being said, now where was I going when I was getting off the rails?
And also we're supposed to be the change we want to see. So that's what I think the learning curve is to become the change you want to see. So, you want to see change, of course, because, the world's so effed up.
Yes.
But
and even if
we have to be part of that change to un-F it up.
Amen. If we are the body, why aren't our hands reaching? I am all about that. And another reason why we're doing this podcast, because I always feel like I want to inspire. I've been praying forever, like, God, use me. Whatever you tell me to do, I'll do it. And then he tells me to do things. I'm like, I'm not doing that. That's scary.
Anything but that.
Right. Anything else but that. So, but another thing is too, when I don't know, we say we a lot because we're like the same person. We've had a lot of these discussions. Like, look how, she's like, yeah. But I feel like
she's doing a great job explaining it better than my words are coming out. So I'm just letting her roll with it.
Well, I was just going to say that we believe too, even if we don't have the answer, like we're just so confident and strong in our faith at this point that we're cool with not having the answer. Like there's still I contemplate and I meditate on those questions. Me too.
And think about I don't know, wonder. If we planned every detail of our life. I kind of feel like I do think that we choose to be here. I think that, we choose to be here. I do think that. I believe that. Now the rest, I don't know. Sometimes I think so. It would make sense. Other times I'm not so sure. I kind of think there's both. I think that a lot of things just happen by chance because people have free will and can't control other people. But it is possible that we just know ahead of time what is going to happen and what they're going to, what we're going to go through in that life. I don't know. But
I will say one of the reasons why I believe that, and I'm with you, where I've thought later, and some things hit me when I needed them to hit me. Like that hit me, like we chart our lives before when I didn't believe in God. So I needed to hear that to be like, okay, there's a reason why people are suffering. But now I do agree that maybe some things are not the big things. I don't think life and death, I don't think can be a mishap or a mix up. But maybe, there is not every little thing. But I will say another thing that, I have to just validate right now why I believe in that is because I have deja vu frequently, which I just had while we were doing this podcast about 3 minutes ago and didn't mention it. And I feel like that's my sign that hey, I've planned this.
This is what's making
somewhere. And now it's coming to fruition.
Noise, guys.
So that's why it feels like I remember being here, because I planned on being here at some point. If you've got another idea on that, like I said, I'm open ears. I'm all about learning new concepts and ideas, but this is just what has gotten me through to this point in my life, because I can't just accept that it's just a bunch of random events for no reason, then people are suffering. Why?
I think there's a reason for all the events. I just think that I just think that sometimes the reason is because people make dumb choices, and sometimes the reason is, chance, I think, and then sometimes I think she's right. I think that, probably the big things are just preordained. like the death and the births and the, you know.
Yeah, I have a hard time believing that just because the way we do affect one another and rub off on one another, that it like could just be like a big accident that my kids were in my life or you were in my life. You know, like those are just too big of things.
Those are too big.
It's such like there's such a ripple effect.
Those are way too big.
Ripple effects are so much more than we recognize about how people are in your lives and what you say to them and how it affects them. I mean,
for sure.
And then how that changes them as a person, and then
everything affects everything else.
Their circle of people, you know, by maybe taking something you've said, whether it be about this or anything, and just learning and then sharing that, and like it is just all so very, very connected. We believe. And
firmly believe that.
So, on that topic, if anybody wants to know anything else about my made-up religion, I'm obviously always willing to talk about it, and that's our jam. Tell you what we think.
It's definitely not a religion like people might say that, but it's not even a religion. It's just, it's religionless is what it is.
It's just a relationship between me and my God. Like I said, I just have put God in a box for so long.
Same.
And it took me a very long time to figure out that it's so much bigger than like I can even fathom. And there's no box, there's no like limits. He's limitless. We've been reading the Bhagavad Gita.
Yes.
As mentioned before, and one of the things that we've been trying to put into practice this week is how we were reading about how to do things without attachment to the results of it. Just do it for the good. Do it for God. And don't worry about the outcome, because that part doesn't matter. What matters is that you're living for God. And I'm like, oh, that's an awesome way to look at things, and it makes life a little easier. Like, just do what you know. So, like, there's good words that we take from different spiritual backgrounds, and we're like, oh, that's a good practice. Let's pull that in. Like, that's a good practice. So, like, that's why, like I said, we believe and have strong faith, but we question certain things also, trying to find, you know, trying to grow our faith, and not just in, like, the Christian Bible that we kind of referenced tonight, but in other ones we pull ideas from or question ideas. So, and that's just what works for us. Again, I think it could be different for each individual. I mean, you can't tell me any two people have the same exact relationship with their God and have the same exact, unless you are following a written rule book. And I don't, if you can find peace that way, more power to you. I wish it was that easy for me, because we don't run ourselves through the gamut trying to figure out what was right. Until
too nosy, too hungry,
So on that
desperate
note,
for knowledge, I guess. Is there anything else, honey? Should we throw anything else into this?
I mean, I could go off on a tailspin about, like, but you'd have to edit it back in, like, where you were talking about how God gave us everything we needed, and legitimately, I mean, medicine from herbs and plants and prayer. I mean, just everything that we could need, He does supply. But I mean, I feel like we stuck to topic. You've got like 35 minutes to work with, and it doesn't have to be 30 minutes long, you know. And we left hopefully a good word. I think so. Like, we talked about something that we can definitely inspiring. I feel like, to give people a couple of like ideas if they're having a hard time struggling with their faith. I know that, like I said, a lot of those things are what helped me when I was struggling with my faith.
Should we get out the uke and sing them a song?
Definitely not.
Get the uke.
Not doing it.
I'll sing. Go ahead.
Not doing
Get
it.
it. No. We gotta entertain them somehow.
Yeah, Atlas. Anyway, so we realized we went super deep with that. Welcome to our channel, because that is our life. That is everything. I could go over there and be like, Mom, I slipped and fell in the snow today. Ha 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 ha. And then we go from that to
3 hours later.
Right, God is so good, and I learned so many lessons from slipping and falling in the snow today. Like, that is just how we are. We're super deep and kind of intense.
We're pretty intense.
But I mean, we're hungry. Thirsty for knowledge. So, if you are like that, then this is perfect for you.
And like I said, we're just giving you, you know, the deep truth of what we believe, just so you'll know more about us, not to convince anyone of anything, but just so you'll kind of know how we think, so that in the future,
when we discuss things or I talk
like
about
we obviously
reincarnation,
do every single video we've done. It's
you guys
came up,
already
so,
know. Like, okay,
yeah.
well, that's she believes in
or at least
reincarnation.
our faith has come up, or something about God has come up. So we just thought, well, it'd just be good to kind of show you guys how we think, so you'll understand
And
kind of what's behind our crazy.
yeah, well, and like these are legit things that like some of the stuff, like what I went through, like finding different things, like finding out that God isn't inside of a box, and finding different ways to view things outside of the religious teachings that I had, really helped me find my faith, which really helped me find my peace of mind, which is like a super, I feel like, good thing to share.
Yes.
So
Same thing here.
I'm not even gonna feel bad about it. Like, if you take something from it,
The more
awesome.
I got away
If
from
not,
religion,
awesome.
the closer I got to God. That's just facts.
Amen, sister.
That's
So
just
I
facts.
mean, we're just about
Or
sharing
facts.
some positivity
Hashtag.
and inspiration and things that we found
Just
helped
gonna
us.
start,
It's just
it's
all
really-
good stuff. So yeah, all right, for facts.
Silly.
Hashtag for facts.
Hashtag. But yeah, love you guys. All you particles.
Oh yeah, me too. And thank you guys
Much
as
love.
always.
Thank you guys. Thank every one of you for spending
supporting
the
us.
time to listen to us babble. And yeah, for supporting us. And please don't forget to like.
And subscribe.
Yeah, and leave us a comment if you feel like it, and tell us what you think about anything about what we said or anything else, or give us ideas of anything that you would like us to talk about or cover. I can do research on anything you would like.
Yeah, we'll put our spin on it for sure.
We enjoy.
We're
putting
doing
our
it.
spin
We
on
do it anyway.
We do it with each other, so we may as well do it with you guys.
Yes. So looking forward to next time. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday.
Felice Sabato.
Say it again.
Felice Sabato.
Felice Sabato.
I'm learning a little
I
Italian.
think I'll just edit her out so it looks like
I like it.
I think.
So yeah, until next time, blessings and peace. Let's see if I can do it on the first time. Nope.